I'm gonna call her Esmeralda. He used to tell his boys, he'd be like, oh, like, no, my girl looks pretty with a headscarf, but I used to wear it the pretty way, so I'd have my head down, and I'd wear the headscarf over it, and I'd look cute. So he'd be like, oh, like, why are you guys always going on with headscarf? My girl looks cute. Little did he know that I hadn't worn it the ninja way. Like, I hadn't worn it that. And so as soon as we got comfortable, and as soon as he got secured, and he was locked down, I was like, put this on. I've got a wig collection.
Oh, is it? How many would you say you have?
Over 100.
The first time someone offered to send you hair, like, was you gassed? Like,
I know that I made it.
In like maybe 3 weeks, I lost £4,000 in fraudulent transactions.
do you feel men influence your decisions when it comes to hair?
When will guys understand? I don't do stuff for you, like regardless. Wait. You're gonna come.
Where's the claps coming from? Where's the claps coming from?
What do you mean? Men influence my decision. Men think we wake up and think, let me do this wing on my eyeliner because a man's gonna like it. Let me do lip gloss because a man's gonna like it. Men influence my decision. I had a relationship that was very stressful, so my hair was just falling out. It was just, I was like, let me just shave it off again.
You have to pattern your wig. Okay, don't let the wig pattern you.
You must be a brave individual if you think you're gonna come online and say something about black hair. Like, look at the era we're living in. People will jump on you for the smallest thing, but you wanna come and be like, yeah, black people hair. What? Do you know what I mean? Your account will be suspended. We'll have your bank details, your address, your mum's address. By the end of the day, like, this is what we're living in.
Some people thought I was becoming a lesbian. Some people thought I was going through a breakup. Some people thought I was just experimenting. What are you going to do next? I'm like, no.
We've been conditioned to hate ourselves.
Instead of writing a tweet, I made a documentary. This is black girl hair. Embarrassed, proud, or shy. I remember being at uni and one of my friends said she's wearing wigs and I bantered her all day. She explained how she started making, selling and then sending them in the post. I was shocked about all of this and I felt like I discovered a big secret. At uni it's like being in the Big Brother house. You learn everything about people and especially the hidden habits of the opposite sex. I started noticing that girls with the best kept hair wore wigs because they could maintain it. So even as a black guy it took me time to get used to. One day, a girl was telling me her work stories / lies about her hair, which I found hilarious. The next day, I brought the topic up to another girl, and she had even funnier lies she created to avoid questions and judgment from her colleagues. I felt this was such a huge, undiscussed topic, and if you know me, you know if I have an idea, no lacking. This is black girl hair, embarrassed, proud, or shy. Let's take it back to the childhood days.
I remember vividly like my first experience with like hair and realising, and for me, my realisation wasn't just about my hair being different, but it was actually also the first time I realised I was black when I was in school. And I'm from Essex, so I went to a predominantly white school. I was pretty much the only black girl in my whole year, possibly. There was like 3 or 4 of us. And same with Nadia, like I had long hair it was conflicting, it was weird because in my household and around my family and my cousins and stuff like that, I always knew that I had like long hair because people would always say to my mum, how'd you get Audrey's hair so long, it's so thick. So I heard those things, so I always felt like beautiful as a kid. Like I'd always hear those compliments and hear those conversations going on in the background. And there was a girl in my class who her mum would always ask my mum, like, what do you use on Audrey's hair, blah, blah, blah. And so yeah, so I had that in one year, and then when I was in school, I had like an experience where I must have been about maybe 5 or 6, and I was in the playground, and we had the dinner lady, and she would do all the white girls' hair in like French braids. So they would all go up to her, and they'd be like, "Oh, miss, can you do that?" And she'd do all their hair. So obviously, as a kid, you don't contextualize race; you just see yourself as a kid, innit? So I went over to her, and I was like, "Miss," and she just looked at me, and she was like, Audrey, I can't do your kind of hair. So at the time, my hair was like in doo-doo plaits. So I thought it was because my hair was in doo-doo plaits. I was like, oh, well, of course you can't do it. It's in doo-doo plaits, duh. So I went to the toilet, undid my doo-doo plaits. And when I went back and she was like, Audrey, I still can't do it. And I think that exact moment, and it's mad because I'm 32 now and I still remember that day so vividly. And I think that's the first day I realised that I was different. It's the first day I realised I was black, and I realised that I wasn't the same as the other little girls in my class.
So you ignited a memory in me as well, that I let a white girl play with my hair at school. And like I said, I thought long hair, we're one of them. She took my cane rows out and I had to ask Miss McDermott, bless her heart. I had to ask my teacher, can you put it back? And I had grease in my hair. She plaited my hair for like 3 seconds and was like, what is all this? I thought everyone had grease.
I remember there was a hat I had, and it was a weird kind of, it was a woolen hat. And you know like how we've got like the hat with the ears on the side? Mine had pigtails, so it was like fake hair. It wasn't actual hair, but it was like woven. So
I know the one.
yeah, so it was a hat with 2 pigtails and bows on it.
Like the dappy hats.
A bit like the dappy hats, yeah, but like literally it had pigtails. And I remember in class, I was definitely in reception, so I was 4 or 5, probably 5. And I wore it to school, and I thought no one would notice. And I wanted to keep it on all day. And I remember my teacher was like, "Remember, take off your hat?" And I was like, "What hat?" And I was definitely in reception. Like I know for a fact, because I remember sitting on the carpet like, they're not gonna notice I got long hair. And my teacher just shut it down like, and it was a white lady as well. She was like, "Take off that hat." And I was like, what? I did, like, I was almost, yeah. I'm thinking, raw, I was really a little kid and I done that. Like, and that's an actual memory. So I was like, oh my gosh, I was really upset. Like, I remember being grumpy and being like, oh, I've got to take off my hair.
When my mum cut it when I was like 3 years old, my 3rd birthday.
That answer came at 0.00.
Yeah, because I was triggered. That's why I was very upset.
I was waiting to have it back.
No, I was very upset. So that was like my earliest memory of like being like, wow, hair is really important. Because I'd be in a class being like, oh, are you bald one hair? Like, why am I bald when everyone's got hair? I was like, that's not fair. So I think that was like my earliest memory when my mum cut my hair.
Did you cry?
Yeah. And then I cut my hair myself 2 years ago. So yeah. I got her back. Yeah.
One thing I did notice was people born outside of the UK face a different experience. Take Samira.
Because I spent the majority of my life in Ghana as well for about a good 10 years. And during that time I went to secondary school, and at secondary school we had to shave our hair. Well, you had to because they thought that if you had hair at your school, you wouldn't focus on your books.
Seriously?
Yes. So yeah, I didn't have any hair.
Boys and girls had the same hairstyle?
Boys and girls had the same hairstyle. Sometimes you couldn't even make them out.
When I was in Ghana, they shaved my head. The school shaves all the girls' heads because they don't want the boys to be distracted by the girls. That was the reason.
How did that make you feel?
Well, at the time, I was too young, and also I kind of liked it because that meant I didn't have to get my hair braided and sit down for like 12 hours doing my hair. Yeah, I could just play and be free. But growing up, I was just like, that's actually really effed up. Like, so sexist, and like, there are just so many layers to that. But now I think they've stopped it. But I don't know. I'm going there for my birthday in May, so I'll see how the landscape has changed. But back then, it was so tough. Like,
many of the girls spoke about their experiences with relaxing and perming. Let's get into it.
I would have learned my hair from a young age. It was difficult because my mum owned my hair, if that makes sense. So whatever mummy wanted to do on my head was what was happening. And that included, I think, how old was I when I first got my hair relaxed? Like 12, I think, or 13. Intrinsically, I didn't like the relaxer, but I didn't know even why, because I should have liked the relaxer. Society was telling me to like it. My mum was telling me to like it. Every other black, auntie and everybody was like, oh, finally. Your hair is straight. But I just knew inside there's a thing. Because my hair, like I said, my hair is thick, relaxing, I could never get it to look like when you look on the box.
Yeah, how it looked on the box.
Growing up, the words that I would associate with my hair would be stubborn, resistant, annoying. I would need to have relaxer in to have my hair perfectly straight. And it's like I was running away from my curl texture, my curl pattern. And social media has its benefits and it has its pros and its cons, because I don't know if you've noticed, but nowadays you can see hairs about whether it's 4C, 4A, 4B, there will be a video on YouTube about how to look after your hair, how you don't have to run to relaxer, because relaxer can really burn through a tin can in 45 minutes. And these are the type of chemicals that we are putting in our hair. And a lot of the hair products that we actually use as black women aren't even FDA approved. And they have been certain links to certain types of cancers as well, because obviously it's close to your scalp, you know what I mean? Close to the skin.
The first time it was ever relaxed was on my 9th birthday, but then
like, it came out. My mum didn't do it again because she just wanted it for that special day. But then that second time, I think I was like 14, 15, because I wasn't allowed to have like weaves until I was like 15 years old, around that age. So that's when I relaxed it. But it was one auntie that did it for me, and she burnt my hair. So then my hair got damaged, and then I kept relaxing it after, so my hair just became so thin and damaged.
Don't let your mum put jerry curls in your hair, because that really messed up my whole hair experience. My mum thought she was a hairdresser when she was younger, so she always used to experiment on my hair. And I used to have like really long, thick, curly afro hair. And then she decided to, after watching Coming to America, she was like, oh, I'm gonna put jerry curls in my hair from scratch at home. And it completely messed up my curl pattern. A lot of my hair fell out. So when my hair fell out, I just felt so insecure about my hair, and it was growing back, but it was growing back like a really weird kind of kinky with like a very loose curl pattern. It was just horrible. And so I started wearing bandanas to school because I was so ashamed of my hair. So like secondary school, for like 4 years, I kept my hair covered because I didn't want people to see my hair. And then it was just horrible because I was yeah, because I was already getting bullied at school for like being plus size anyway. So that was just like another layer on top of it. And people just assumed that I was a tomboy because I always had like the bandana on or had my hair covered and things like that.
When I relaxed my hair, I've always relaxed my hair when I was a little girl. I stopped when I was 15, where I went to the barbers and shaved it all off. And shaved it. Yeah, stand in the chair, stop, shape up everything.
Not the ball one.
Nah. He's doing nicely. Even give me a fade at the back.
Most of our parents permed our hair because of maintenance. I don't think, especially, I feel like because I was from a single parent household, my mum was working a lot. We was at childminders' houses or whatever, a lot. So to look after our natural hair, it requires a lot of patience, a lot of detangling, because we've got coarse hair naturally. And I feel like she permed it just to make it easier to maintain. And I feel like we didn't really know our hair and the perks of it and the beauty of it. And we just really just wanted it to be easy and quick. And I feel like that's why they put chemicals in it.
Bad hair days.
But I love the Beatles. And so I had a bag with the Beatles on it, and I wanted my hair cut like theirs, like a literal bowl cut. And I also saw like Kerry Hilson had like a bowl cut. So I was like, all right, I love the Beatles. I love Kerry Hilson. Let me just get my hair cut just like hers. And she also had like gold like end bit. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna do that. And it was the ugliest hairstyle. I went into school and my teacher was just like, what is going on here? Like, you look terrible. And I had to just like style it out the whole time. Like I had to just do all this crazy stuff with my hair to just get it to not look ridiculous. And I had like the full front fringe, and it was just like, that was the first time I cut my hair as well because I relaxed it and it was much shorter and just like a round bob. So
I had very long hair as a child. I mean like here. And I wanted to look like my Barbie and cut my fringe, and that was when I realised that this is a problem. So I cut my hair, and the only thing that I was miffed about was the fact that my hair didn't go down like my Barbie's did, because my Barbie was black and she had a fringe, and I was like, why is her fringe here and mine is up here? So I had to go to school the next day with all this hair down here and this bit up, and that's the first memory I have of realising that my hair is not the same as everything I play with and everything I watch. And like I said, because I had long hair, I didn't understand textures, or I just thought, oh, we've all got long hair.
Didn't start wearing the weave until I was, almost 18. So that's when because my dad's not in his household, almost 18. So when I first wore the weave, it was honestly the 12-incher. It was here. Premium 2. Or Remy. Just here, and even the leave out, because my hair was so that's when I first did it. So it was horrible. And I was like, guys, this is not the weave
But for me, I grew up because I wore braids so much. Braids was my thing. I loved wearing braids. I hate how time consuming it was, but braids. And now I'm doing more crochet braids. I'm older. I'm experimenting with my hair a lot more.
Wash day. I was even quoted 24 hours.
I hate it. That's all I can say. I hate it. It's so long. You have to wash it. You have to put conditioners. You have to leave it for a bit. You have to dry it. The masks. Even then, the braiding. You don't even wash it. Like you section. It's like you don't understand. It's so long. That's why I understand why women don't. They can't. Like you have to really love your hair to. You have to put a whole day aside. As in, my friends will be like, "Oh, let's go here." I'm like, "Sorry, today's my hair day," and they understand. But it's.
How long? Wash day is for me. Yeah, it is a day. It's a day.
24 hours.
Yeah, but then that's only because I'm brainwashed by these beautiful women on YouTube that have these amazing, healthy afros.
I have like a raw egg mix that I love very much.
You make it yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty much like raw egg, and I add a bit of honey just for like. From YouTube. YouTube. Put that in my hair, wash that out. Leave conditioner in my hair, and then wash that out, and then blow dry and oil it.
So how long does this take? Like the whole process?
Hours, man. If I'm honest.
If you had to put a number on it, how many hours would you say?
Like at least 3 hours, because you have to consider how long you have to leave these products in your hair, your hair drying, blow drying. Yeah, you probably have to leave it like for sometimes you have to leave for like an hour, so it can take a good few hours.
I think it's about time we start talking about wigs. Let's get into it.
I've got a wig collection.
Oh, is it? Mm-hmm. How many would you say you have?
Over 100.
Over 100?
Mm-hmm. I'm building it.
I love that you can change your hair literally dependent on how you feel. A lot of my emotions are expressed through my hair, so I love that about wigs.
Black China had a short wig, and she was going to the courts, and they called it the court wig, because it wasn't no long like blonde. Yeah. So it's like, if you want to be taken seriously, there's a hairstyle for it. Do you know what I mean?
Because I wasn't allowed to have like weaves until I was like 15 years old, around that age. I took the. Yeah, I thought, yeah, I've landed. I'm a bad bee. That's how I felt. Because my dad, he hates it. Like, he prefers when I have my hair out or braids. So he was like, my daughter's not going to be doing all that hair. But my mum, she's more lenient, and she was always wearing wigs anyway.
There's a nice side of it. There's a comfort inside of it. It's like some guy tweeted and he was like, "Oh, I wanted to run my finger through my girl's hair, but it was hanging up in the wardrobe." Do you know what I mean? Like,
have men influence your decisions when it comes to hair?
When will guys understand? I don't do stuff for you, like regardless.
Wait. Hold on.
You're gonna come regardless.
No, because what do you mean? Men influence my decision.
Men think we wake up and think, let me
do braids because men will. No, and I do.
Like it.
Men influence my decision.
You know, I had this conversation with my friend the other day actually, because we were saying you could basically make like a Venn diagram, like a flow chart of what kind of guys are going to be moving to you when you've got what type of hair. We were saying you could write a flipping book on it. Like, it's like when you've got straight hair, you get a certain kind of guy. When you've got your braids in, or if you've got dreads in, you get a different type of guy. When I just have like my short, like my fro out, then I get a different type of guy. And like, it's just fascinating.
I remember when I was younger, I used to always be worried, like, am I attractive? You know, do men find me attractive? But it's like, and I think that stemmed from my personal insecurities as well. But I think the woman I'm starting to become is more so, as long as I'm comfortable, I'm fine. As in, you can really catch me in Leicester with just bonnet on my head or my cornrows out, and I'll walk the streets with utmost confidence, because it's like, I know I can drip up or drip down, baby. You know what I mean? Like,
unless a man's paying for anything, it's not his business.
absolutely. Like, I think like anybody that says that men and how you're perceived in the male gaze doesn't have an effect on, like, at the end of the day, like, no matter what, we live in a Western world, and you know what the Western world dictates that there's a certain standard of beauty, and unfortunately that standard of beauty is straight hair, is, you know, to look as sleek as possible. And I don't care who you are, like, you can be the most confident person in the world. Everybody, if you're a straight woman, you want validation in some sense, and everybody wants to feel beautiful. And if guys like a certain thing, you're gonna try and have what guys deem to be attractive. And I think that people get judged for admitting that, and people get penalised for, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying I'm a straight woman, I want men to find me attractive, and going down the route of what men want.
If I have a partner or a crush or someone and I know what they like I've been with a guy and he likes this certain hairstyle, obviously you'll do it because it's what they like. So that's like the only influence. But at the end of the day, if I'm gonna have my hair, I want to have my hair, you know.
Because when I first got with my husband, I used to like do the most, like literally, like I used to like, yeah, in it, like he would not even know what was going on with me. Like for like he used to tell his boys, he'd be like, like no, my girl looks pretty with her headscarf, but I used to wear it the pretty way, so I'd have my head down and I'd wear the headscarf over it and I'd look cute. So he'd be like, like why are guys always going on about headscarves? My girl looks cute. Little did he know that I hadn't worn it the ninja way, like I hadn't worn it that. And so as soon as we got comfortable, and as soon as he got secured and he was locked down and cuffed, I was like, boy, exactly. Even before then, I would wear my head and he'd be like, oh yeah, this is what they were talking about.
The first time, like, I did it, but then I had a relationship that was very stressful, so my hair was just falling out. It was like, you know, let me just shave it off again. But it was falling out, and then I permed it, thinking that would help. Didn't. So I was like, you know what, let me just shave it off again, and then just stay natural. And I, like, my last relationship, like, his now partner was like, he's not attracted to you without the wig and just in your cornrows. So I was like, I think that kind of made me think, raw. It made me look at myself twice, but then that I still carry that slight thing. So I always like say to my partner, like, you don't have a problem with this, do you? Because if you do right now, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a problem with it, because I'm not going to be with someone who has a problem with who I am underneath and all that. That's why I try to show it from the start. No, they're just being shady. They just said it after the relationship ended. Yeah, like I got told certain things. I was like, swear down. But obviously it ended, and obviously it's time to like move on with your life. So, but I just still kind of internalized it. But yeah, it just made me like be like, next person I'm with, this is cool, right? Like you're not gonna like, you know, go on a bit weird.
When I first had the idea for the documentary, it was based around the workplace. But as you can see, it went down different avenues. But let's get into the workplace.
I think I've always been a very rebellious. My first ever internship I did was at the Bank of England, and I didn't really understand. Like I feel like I understood work etiquette and whatever, but I was still a bit like, yeah, whatever I'm gonna do, I want. So I came into work one day in a green wig, and my manager, yeah, and like I thought it wasn't bright green. Like in some lights it was bright, but it was, you know, like the darker kind of. Yeah, and I was like, this is really cute, because it was like black at the top and it was like ombre into like a dark green. And I was like, this is really cute. It's subtle, but also, you know, a bit out there. Yeah. And then I remember going into work and I saw like the governor of the Bank of England. He was like, oh, your hair's cool. And I was like, thank you. Like, this is like the validation that I need. Like, if you can be the governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, and you say you like my hair, then it should be no problem. I got into work now, got into my office, my manager was there and was like, what the hell is going on? She took me out and she was like, how quickly can you change your hair? I was like, what? She's like, this is unacceptable for the Bank of England, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I don't even want to work in a bank. This job is boring. Like, I wanted to just do an internship for the internship's sake. Like, this really isn't for me. And I feel like it's a tough one, because I would tell myself to keep that same spirit and never kind of change it. It doesn't matter like what your environment is like, and if people don't like it or if you don't feel comfortable to be yourself, then there are other opportunities. Like, I just don't feel like I should have to be limited by this one bank because they don't like what I'm saying. Doesn't mean I have to cancel that all out. So
there was one time I had braids and they said how I have to have more professional hair, and I'm like, what? I won't bait them out. I'm not gonna try to drag them, but it's like, what is professional? I said no. I said this is like, I'm black and this is like a protected style. It's a hairstyle. What did they say back to you? They were like, we understand. Yeah, I didn't get the job. Yeah. But they were like, yeah, we understand, but we're just more professional.
I wanna think that I'm being my most utmost self when I go to an interview, but I understand that the game's the game, right? And the game is purely that it's a very white, very male-dominated field. So therefore, when I make that first impression, I have to be quite palatable. And to do that, that isn't necessarily braids. Like I wouldn't go into an interview with a white man and he wouldn't necessarily understand that, you know, braids is just braids. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I am that Nubian ethnic queen, as opposed to just being someone who's going to an interview. So no, I'd probably go for something very, very Caucasian, like straight hair.
I think in any situation as a black woman, for me, is you are always mindful of how you're going to come across as a black woman. So even working in a professional environment, you know, you always think, oh, are they going to think I'm aggressive, this and that.
Small things, like, you complain about something, but you don't want to come across as aggressive, or they're going to be thinking.
But for me, I said no way. So what I did is I did the white woman tears, cry, for any small thing, cry. Any little thing, anything at work, I'm crying. Yeah. So no, I mean, it's just traumatic for me right now. Yeah, that's because that's what they do. Because I'm not a crier, but if I need to show you me, cool. Because if I now use me as in rejoice, as in like I'll tell you straight, oh, she's been a bit confrontational. You're being no, I'll come there. I can't believe. Oh, I can't believe he did that.
Let's take it back to the school days.
I think it's racist. I think it's horrible that children, like kids who are literally going to school to learn, are being pulled out of their lessons because the hair looks a certain way, or it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, you would never say this to a white child, and it's really horrible, and it's going to be like some children's first experiences with racism and feeling like they're different and they're being made to feel like something that grows out of their head that's completely natural is unprofessional and distracting, and that's a horrible thing to kind of implement in children or make them feel. So then no, never, there should never be anything like that unless you have lice, you know, then get the hell out. And like, but other than that, the way you wear your hair is a reflection of you or who you are or what you felt like that day, and you shouldn't be penalized for it.
Just reminded me, I remember in school, primary school, they used to give out this small comb.
Oh yeah.
And it's like everyone, and I remember when the black kids were trying to put through their hair, thinking, this ain't going through my hair, what's going on? And I remember the teacher was like, obviously, like, it's very rare for black kids to get
exactly.
You can express yourself through hair, and there shouldn't be something that's mandated, because if I was to say now, I'm offended by ginger hair, they can't help it, they're ginger. So what, are you going to say they should dye their hair to go to school? No. And sometimes their ginger hair is very ginger. It's quite distracting, in fact. It's just like, oh my gosh, I've never seen such orange hair in my life. And you can't mandate them, so why would you mandate us? Allow it. Because it doesn't make any logical sense, to be honest. Unless it was like even then, no, because you see those, when they do the got to be spike, and they dye the end and it's like a proper hardcore thing. That's distracting. That's even dangerous. Do this and poke my eye.
It's about time we talk about Twitter.
Oh my god, this is so true. London is so small, your main thing could be making your side things wig. Like, that is so true. Oh my god. But like, obviously I live in Dublin, and Dublin's even smaller. Like, if you think London is small, go to Dublin and then you know what small is. Like, this is real life situation right here. Like, I ain't gonna name any names, but I know someone that this happened to, and it wasn't a pretty sight. I'll tell you that. Oh god. Are you wearing the wig, or is the wig wearing you? Please seize control. Oh my god. Yo, guys. There's actually some girls and their wigs are just so, you know, messed up, and you're just like, girl, please, you have to pattern your wig, okay? Don't let the wig pattern you. you have to pattern your wig, right?
You must be a brave individual if you think you're gonna come online and say something about black hair. Like, look at the era we're living in. People will jump on you for the smallest thing, but you wanna come and be like, yeah, black people hair, what? Do you know what I mean? Your account will be suspended, we'll have your bank details, your address, your mum's address by the end of the day. Like, this is the world we're living in. So I feel like people are not brave enough to be doing that kind of stuff, do you know what I mean?
Let's get into the lucrative side of the hair business.
My aunt was a hairdresser. She used to babysit me a lot, and in her salon I didn't have anything better to do, so I'll just take the mannequin. Yeah, I'll just be doing little plaits, you know, those little ugly hairstyles. And in school, yes, and shiny bumps and all those crazy hairstyles. And then in school, people started asking me, oh, can you do my Kanos at lunchtime quickly? And then, of course, yeah. I got my little £5, yeah. So we essentially made another online platform so people could purchase hair on. And I didn't integrate site security well. And in like maybe 3 weeks, I lost £4,000 in fraudulent transactions. So that was like, wow. They really be decent, and it's not just me. Like when I talk to other women that do hair in the UK as well, they all have the same issue.
Obviously I became homeless, so yeah, so it's a thing whereby like I had to like make sure that everything that my mom taught me, I still had them values, and I had to hustle, understand what people really are like. I was learning about myself even more, that I have something within me that I can show. I don't have to be very shy all the time. I should speak out. I'm a very tolerant person, so I just let things happen to me. I don't speak about it. So it just really taught me how to be very independent. I always was, but like even more so self-sufficient, and to be a very, very clever girl to get out of the position that I was. And then obviously I just stumbled on YouTube just by like kind of accident. I felt like it was a way to express myself. I wasn't looking for like the fame or the pop. I like creating, I like editing and making things look pretty, so that was the whole point of it. So yeah, it just happened, and then I think even more so my YouTube career, it made me realize fully 100% who I am, and it literally made me get more confident without actually changing who I am. So I think this past 3 years has been full on madness.
So would you say that like YouTube has changed your life?
Yes, it has. It's changed my life in the sense that I'm more confident. I can go and buy something if I want it, you know what I mean? No, I'm not designer type of person, by the way, but just like I could go buy some fresh Air Forces. I don't remember the first time I ever had this like proper trainers, like normal branded trainers. I was what, 23? I think starting off is because I try to aim to people who are just like me. So people who can't afford much, people who are on a budget. That was my whole thing.
I started off my channel doing hair reviews actually, and then I started to feel like, okay, I'm inspiring people to wear different hairstyles and stuff, but I don't really feel like I'm adding real value to anybody. So I started doing a talk videos. So I started, my first talking video was on celibacy and like my genuine celibacy and things like that. And then that just started off like a conversation. In every video I started like giving advice, and then I turned into kind of like a big sister online. So just helping women, like giving advice and stuff to women. So I actually cut my hair online. Oh, wow. And so I had a whole like 2 month, yeah, that's me. I had a 2 month series of like just me wearing my natural hair and just talking about pressures, societal pressures, beauty standards and things like that.
The big chop.
Cutting off my hair was so cathartic. Is it cathartic?
Stop. Cathartic? If you don't know what that word meant, me and the production team had to Google what it meant as well. But don't worry, let's get back into it.
My little bald head, and I went out and I literally just felt like the wind just passed through my hair. And I just felt at so much peace. Like, there's this little garden area behind like the flat I live in, and I just kind of just chilled out there, and it was just, I just felt at peace with myself.
My mum, she said she had long hair. Her mum, well, my grandparents, my grandma was having another child, so they put her in like a care home temporarily, because back in the day, I don't know what kind of foolishness they were doing, but they put her in her care home. In England? Yeah, in England. Put her in a care home like temporarily, maybe for like a few days while my granddad was working and my grandma was in the hospital. Something crazy like that, because there's no family around. I still need to figure out what the hell that means, but what that story was about. But she says she remembers being a child and a white woman cutting off all her hair.
What?
They were like, what's this? There you go. Never grew back.
That is ridiculous.
And she was like, okay.
So we spoke about many topics, but what about natural hair?
In work, that used to always happen. They used to be confused by my hair all the time. The white girl there, she told me, like, your hair's that long. I've never met any black girl with hair as long as that. Your hair's longer than some of my white friends. And that was just so rude. Okay, you're the exception. Yeah, it happened all the time at work. They didn't understand. One day I did have my natural hair. They didn't understand. One day I had it straightened. They still didn't understand. I mean, they will never understand. And I don't expect them to understand. I just want them to shut up.
My uncle always said, black people hair grow when you don't do nothing to it. Like, that's why the Rasta's hair can just grow long, because they just do one thing and it grows.
Basically, YouTubers did this thing where they would say, oh, great tutorial for 4C hair. 4C hair tutorial, blah, blah, and you click it and you watch it, and the hair would just be like, oh my days, and I would do the same thing, and my hair would be disgusting. And it's because they lie, because they know that black women with 4C hair are desperate to find ways to maintain, style their hair, like. And so because there is such a demand for it, because we're always searching for it, people are using the fact that we need it desperately to just sell us lies.
So let's imagine again that you've got a daughter.
Yeah.
And how would you balance showing her to love her natural hair and then also saying, oh, it's okay to wear braids and weave? How would you go about teaching her that, by the way, your natural hair is...
It's beautiful, yeah. I just drill it into her every day and just... Yeah, I think I would also I wouldn't shy away from having my natural hair out. Like, I would try and... Because obviously your parents are your first role models, aren't they? Like, the first people you look up to, the first people you adore. And you want to look like your parents as much as possible as well. So I would definitely try and keep my hair out. I would... And just really just use, like I said, like positive language, positive reinforcement, and make things like wash their hair, make them fun. Do you know what I mean? Make them a bonding thing. And also I think it's very important to bring father figures into it as well, because I don't think it should just be about mother and daughter. I think it should also be daughter and father as well, like, because it shouldn't, like, everybody should, you've got to all be part of it. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you've all got to love your hair and you've all got to be a part of this cause.
The earliest time, I think, was in Jamaica. We were sitting on veranda and my mom said that she's going to do a treatment on my hair to make it soft. And I was like, okay, then. So she just cut like natural plants and stuff, made this thing, put it on my hair, put the plastic bag, running around all day with a blue bag on my head top, you know. And my hair was just really like curly and soft, and it just looked so pretty. And my mom would always be like, you have pretty hair, you have pretty hair. And she's like always like, you know, she's a Rastafarian. So yeah, I grew up like natural beauty is the best.
Just like everything else in this world, there's gonna be haters. The girls told us so many stories about haters. Let's get into it.
I remember there was like a group of girls and they always had like very slicked back hair, like they used to do like the whole gel thing. I never really did that till I was a bit older. And they always had like proper like slicked back hair, bare gel, and I never used to do that. My mum didn't gel my edges, like my hair was just out in it, but my hairline was mad forward. And I remember some girl, she was just like, oh, why is Audrey's hairline so effed up, man? And I remember being the kind of kid that I was so upset. Like, I remember that day, like I was like, why is she making fun of me? Like, and I was just so upset that day. I remember it so vividly because she didn't say it to me, but she was walking past me and I heard it. And I was so upset, and I just went home. You know, like you do mad things. Like I went home and I was probably like playing, like why? But do you know what's so nuts? It's like 10 years later, that same girl was in my DMs, and she was just like, "Oh, Audrey, what products do you use to keep your edges so thick?" And I was like, "Well, damn! All right now." I was like, "Wow, like we really, really come full circle." Because this exact same girl always used to get at me about my hairline.
I knew you had a good hairline, but it couldn't.
But no, do you know what it is? I had a good hairline, but it wasn't slicked. And at the time, that was how black girls wore their hair, innit? It was just slicked back, and my hair wasn't like that. And so now, and when I say, like, I mean, I didn't wish this on her, you know, it is what it is, but her hairline it's just gone. It is gone.
It's been slicked down for
exactly, because she was doing the slick thing for like years and years, innit? Like the slick pony, you know, when it's pulled back so tight. And I didn't even respond.
Guys don't really know what they're talking about when it comes to hair unless they're like a hairstylist, which there are quite a few male hairstylists now. But a woman kind of knows more about the hair, so she's gonna tell you, babe, your track is showing. That's really gonna hurt to the core, because once she knows a track, she knows what the track's meant to be like. She just knows all of these things. So, yeah.
One day, I just had my hair out. It wasn't like growing well, so like I did a little trim, cut, and then I tried to put it in a little bun, but my bun was struggling. My bun was really struggling. It was a struggle bun. It was like, it was a bit of a sticky one still. So I remember someone making a remark like that, do you know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, I just felt so down. Yeah, it was a girl.
So what's worse, a guy like cutting your hair or a girl cutting your hair? What hits you more?
I feel like a girl, because the way girls go about it, like, and I feel like sometimes, I think the girl who did that to me is because it came from somewhere that someone had done that to her. So she's only doing, it's learnt behaviour to hate on another person because love comes more naturally, do you get? So I felt like that stemmed from someone doing that to her. So when it comes from a boy, what do you even know about hair when it comes to girls? Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, I can just disregard what you say, but I feel like there's a certain like amount of spite and vim when it comes from girls. And like, it's like, it will become a herd. One person will be hating on you, and then the other girls will pick up on it, and now it's like a group. Whereas with Mandem will just say what they have to say and go by the day. Do you get? So I feel like it was more, it stings a bit more when it comes from a girl, because it's like, sis, we're on the same team, we're in the same struggle. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, so when that came from her, I literally, the next day, I ran to like them Peckham hair shops and stuff, and I went and bought synthetic hair. Then that was a problem. Oh, is your hair natural? Is it synthetic, or is it Peruvian, or what's your texture? Like, babe, like, why are you trying to expose me? Like, please. So too many questions, do you know what I mean? So it's just like, oh, okay, I've changed my hair now. Oh, but I'm wearing synthetic, that's a problem. Like, please, I'm really in year 10. Where am I getting the bread from? To be buying hair for free bills to get. So it's just like, oh. Yeah, so I think that was my first encounter where I was just like, God. And it chips away at your confidence, especially when it's repetitive, and it's just hard.
Black women, black hair is politicized. I think we are the only race where people, first and foremost, that people try to equate your hair to what it means to love yourself. Politics of, you know, me as a black woman wearing weave, that means I'm less black. And I think just all of these things makes you quite conscious of other people's opinion of you and your hair. Because of that, it makes it very hard to choose and decide hairstyles. And then you also have to consider the perspective of, if you are very career driven, you do things that you feel like would get you ahead, right? And to do so, you have to be likable. If you go into an office, you realize that the person who's most liked tends to get a lot of promotions because people like them, they know them, right? And like I pointed out previously, when you have an afro, it's kind of like, oh my God, your hair is very different. Can I touch your hair? And that gets quite irritating. Naturally, any normal person would be like, you know what, man, like, allow it. Stop touching my hair. And you can't say that to an MD and not almost get fired.
When I cut my hair, a lot of people were like, what's happening in your life? Like, people always assume that when you cut your hair that you're going through a major change. Like, some people thought I was becoming a lesbian. So, some people thought I was going through a breakup. Some people thought I was just experimenting, what you can do next? And I'm like, no, I wanted to do this and I want to see how this can go. And like, people are like, are you going to grow it? And I'm like, no, I actually like it being short, so I'm going to keep cutting it back.
We've been conditioned to hate ourselves from every inch, every aspect of ourselves.
A very interesting topic that was brought up was marriage. Would you wear your natural hair on your wedding day?
She wanted to. I wanted to. That was literally the plan. Like, I went natural. I'd always had my hair relaxed and was wearing wigs. And part of the reasons why I started wearing wigs is because I wanted to protect my natural hair and try and grow it out. And I did do that, and I got I got married last May, so when I was like meeting up with hairdressers and stuff, it was mad because all of them told me, don't have your natural hair. They all said like, for the style that I wanted, because I just wanted to have my hair pulled back so I looked like as natural as possible. I just wanted to have it slit back in a low bun. And they all said to me, don't do that with your natural hair because the weather's going to be warm and it's not going to stay, blah, blah, blah. They all recommended wigs. And to me, I was like, who am I to argue with the experts? You know what I mean? Like, they were like, if you want the best results, this is what you do. So that was the aim for me, and I didn't end up doing it.
Looking back on it, would you change it?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. I wish I spoke to more people. I wish I tested it, tried it out just to see. But I didn't. A lot of them were saying to me as well, like, the option is the style you want to do, relax it. And I'd already spent 2 years growing out my relaxer so my hair was natural for this moment. So I'm not going to go and relax it now. Yeah, so that was my experience.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have natural hair. I mean, I'm hoping this doesn't happen in the next year because I will literally have, like, a little puff of hair. But yeah, the plan in my head, like the way I visualize my wedding is that, because I'm quite a shoeaholic, this is so not part of the documentary, but I'm quite a shoeaholic, so I've always wanted to get married on a beach with no shoes, just to kind of strip everything off of what I am and my natural hair. And the thing is, I've grown my hair to the length I want, which is just a bob. I just want a nice long bob, basically. I just want it to be natural and healthy, that's all. But when I say natural, it'll probably be hot combed or silk press or Brazilian blow dry, so it's like straight, but yeah, like a bob. And I just want sand in my hair, and I want the freedom of just not having to worry about it frizz. And if it frizzes, it frizzes.
Right now, it's funny because I was thinking about, if I get married, will I get a weave? Or like, because I know a lot of people, like, for their wedding day, they want the look but they want the look of infinity. Like, this is the look I'll always look back at and I'll always be proud of. Because I've seen people on their wedding day have completely different hair to how they normally do. And I'm like, why did you want that one? And they were like, oh, that's just how I saw myself as looking on my wedding. And I'm like, I really think I want short hair for my wedding. But I'm still like, oh, but maybe a nice long weave would be nice. But I'm like, nah, but is that you though? That's the thing. Is that you? Is that what you want your authentic self to look like?
You know, my husband, you know, when I walk down the aisle, I hope he's better start crying because he's about to marry the best woman out there. So please. I've been watching 2 minutes. Yeah, you know, if he doesn't cry, I'm literally going to walk back. I'll be like, we're going to do this rerun, camera, roll again because he's confused.
A lot of the women we interviewed couldn't swim or they didn't like to swim. Has hair ever affected your experience of swimming? Has it ever put you off?
Every single time.
Every time? I'm going to answer this question. I've got a £1 billion bet on it, yeah? Can you swim?
Kinda.
Okay.
Kinda. I'm not all the way off.
My bet's £500 million then.
Yeah.
So
every time.
Can you float?
No, I can't float.
So, okay.
I can doggy paddle. Doggy paddle?
Yeah. So do you have inflatables?
No, I do that leg thing, frog's legs. I do that. That's how I learned how to swim in Jamaica. When I did that, and then ever since that's the only way I know how to stay like above the water.
As long as you can move.
I can't like do the whole still. How is that even possible? It's not even possible.
Yeah, well, not even my natural hair, any hair. It doesn't matter if I've got my wig on. Like, I honestly, to God, I haven't swam for about 10 years. Like, if I go on holiday and stuff, I'd just be cute by the pool.
Yeah, we do a cute.
Like, I wouldn't like, and I also can't really swim. Like, if I'm being completely honest.
We were in when we went Vegas though, but we were doing cute, and it's like back to the hotel.
Yeah, but not like proper swimming and diving and stuff.
Back to the hotel, do this hair up again.
But that has more to do with me not being able to swim. When I went on holiday to Turkey with my girlfriends, they were all like jumping in the pool, like from the boat, and I was like, no, I can't swim, so I'm not really gonna do that. But hair plays a part in it. I'd be a liar if I said it didn't. You know, like getting it wet and all of them things there. Yeah, exactly.
One thing that was brought up was the older generation. How are they navigating with all these new changes?
One thing that we can do as a generation is to educate the older generation about our hair and the beauty of our hair and the products that we put into our hair, so that they can also know that, you know, our hair is actually beautiful and we should be very proud of it.
They've done that here. Just forget.
They've done that here.
Did you get my mum stays dyeing her hair blonde. It suits her absolutely, but they like my mom's generation is they're still buying mannequin wigs. Do you know the ones you see at the shops? They're still buying those. I'll just leave them. With my mom, I know. I'll tell her like, okay, there's one wig she had. I was thinking, nah, nah, like, okay, your husband likes it. That's cool. That's done. I don't think my dad even cares at this point. Man, like this, bald or no bald. As long as you're here, I don't care. Okay. Back in the day, it was used, in various ways, even from like slavery, like. People started cornrowing their hair to give directions to leave the plantation, or people started cornrowing rice into women's hair for food. If they were during slavery, if they were being sold to another plantation, they would cornrow rice into their hair so that at least they had something to eat. And it's just like, our hair can do so much, like so many things, and it's just such a strong political use that we have. And yeah, I love it. It's great.
An overwhelming request from the women we interviewed was to get a male opinion. So why do you think there seems to be an insecurity when it comes to black women and their natural hair?
Well, it's positive affirmations. It kind of reminds me of Mike Tyson, and when he was young, he was very insecure until he met his coach. And his coach told him, you're strong, you're beautiful, no man alive can test you. And it brought his awareness to the qualities that were always there. So it's kind of like black women and their hair. It's not that the quality is not there, it's just that they don't see it. So they need to feel comfortable hearing from others and themselves that their hair is something to be appreciated.
So like if they're told they're beautiful all the time, it'll make them more confident.
Yeah, they need to say it over and over.
And that's positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations.
I've actually had stuff where I've done like modeling jobs and stuff, and they don't know what to do with my hair because there's like a white hairstylist. And then like on the next day of the shoot, like they had a black hairstylist.
Ready for you.
Yeah, to like twist my locks and stuff.
For example, when you're doing a ponytail and you want it to be slicked, it's better to have it relaxed. So then the look is complete. So if I'm doing it, doesn't mean that it's self-hate. It's just, it makes it easier, it makes it look complete, and it makes it look nice. Kind of thing.
But you see that word nice, what is nice here?
That is true. You're trying to be all controversial, trying to get me. Yeah. Does anyone else want to?
I'll take. Actually, I had a client yesterday, and she was like, "Yeah, Becca, I hate my hair. I just want to cut it off. I don't really care for it." And it's not just her, it's quite a lot of my clients that have said that, and it's kind of hurtful in a way, because it's like, this is how you was born, this is your natural hair. It does take it's very time consuming, but it's actually trial and error. And I feel like in 2019 there's so many products to help us, but in the past no one knew how to do hair, so the only thing that we could do was basically relax it, hot comb, whatever it was.
Crazy. I'd probably say special.
I would say time consuming.
Curly.
I would say interesting.
I would say stubborn.
Me as well. I'd say ignored.
I chose time consuming because I relax my hair, so I relax like once or twice a year. So that means like for the most part of the year, my hair is like in maybe 2-3 different textures. So like dealing with that is so long, and then also it's quite long as well. So it's just a hassle. Like to do a wash day, that's the whole day.
I feel like I said crazy. I'm like black and Arab, so I just feel like my hair is mad. I've been relaxing my hair for the last 10 years, and I've like gone natural recently, but if I look back at old pictures, it's just like afro but curly but long, and it's just mental. Yeah, to deal with washing, I've only recently learned how to like deal with it again because it's natural again. So
what have I learned from this? I realised that black women use their hairstyles to express themselves and often make changes depending on their mood. That's why it's silly trying to police their mood or the way they express themselves, because we're all different. This is Black Girl here. Embarrassed, proud, or shy?